Two.
And greetings from lands beyond, everybody. Welcome to the first international premiere of the Dong Squad podcast, or what we refer to as the DONGCAST. It is your host, Mark Apollo, and I'm here joined by resident Dong, Joe21K.
What's up?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is a very new format that we're trying out. We're trying, basically, what happened is that we had a lot of things that we talked about, and when you're recording a video specifically for a let's play or just content in general, as in the most gaming vloggers or VTubers, YouTubers, streamers, so on and so forth. Sometimes you can get things that you want to talk about and then you just forget about it, or if you're just insanely like quick on being able to recognize different things to talk about, you could just say it on the fly. Me, because I like to think I have some type of enhanced brain capability that I just forget everything, or in my case, I'm just stupid, but a lot of times I forget a lot of things that I wanted to talk about, or sometimes I'll just get angry and it just becomes into a rant, and I thought to myself, why don't I just talk about it here? Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people who either agree with me or disagree with me. So with that said, this is not a place for political banter or any type of forms of taking on any social topics that go on in today's society. We're here to talk about mainly just gaming news and also geek news. Whether or not we'll transfer over to more serious content, we'll keep that in mind, and maybe we'll go on that later on down the road. But for now, we're just taking things nice and easy, just talking about here and there, like the new Super Mario stuff that's coming out later on this month that I pre-ordered just this morning. And I don't know if you've seen that, Joe, but it's actually the old Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy combined into one like 3-in-1 game thing.
So like kind of how they deal with the Crash Bandicoot games and everything.
Basically, yeah, but it's on Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be an HD remaster, and it's limited, so you can only get it for a while. I don't even know if there's going to be any physical copies. If I remember, this is just available digitally, and you can only pre-order it up until next year, like next year in March. After that, there will be no way to get this game.
Damn.
Yeah, even though the game comes out, even though this collection is released in literally 6 days. And they also actually have this Super Mario Battle Royale that's coming out too, and it's gonna be available only for 1 year. Like literally, they're gonna release it. People are gonna be able to play it, and then at some point they're just gonna get rid of it. Like it'll be gone from existence. No one will ever be able to play it again.
Why
What?
do I feel like the formatting of it is gonna be like Fall Guys?
It basically is. Because all you're doing is you're just trying to get to the end of the level, and I'm like, dude, this is just literally Fall Guys. I mean, obviously we all played Fall Guys, and it's like, wow, this is like Super Mario 3D World, but with like hatred because people are pushing you off, as compared to like Super Mario. Collision exists, but it's just like jumping on people's heads. Unless you use somebody as a Yoshi double jump, I think you're fine. Like, there's no real friendship ruining there, unless it's Mario Kart. But that's a whole different story. Unless imagine they made a Mario Kart battle royale. That
How
would
would
that
that even
that
work?
I don't even know. That would absolutely suck.
We'll save that as a pitch so we can send it in and get money.
Yeah, you heard it here first on the first international premiere of the Dong Squad podcast, DONGCAST. I feel like that's one whole big word that shouldn't be said. Dong Squad podcast, DONGCAST, or Dong Squad DONGCAST podcast. This is DONGCAST.
Yeah.
It'll be easy to say it that way. But yeah, thank you for tuning in if you're watching us for the first time, and thank you for tuning in if you're a returning viewer. And we hope that our content sparks some type of interest within you, and you choose to share us with your most beloved and most hated friends. And hopefully, we'll see you in the long run when we become popular, as in the 200 sub gang. and then will die off in like 2 years. Who knows? But our main topic that we wanted to talk about today is actually a recent resurgence of an amazing genre of video gaming in today's standards that has come and go in different forms, and most of the times they aren't as successful as most gamers, at least the audiences in their ages. They change, and therefore their interests are different. But the old co-op campaign genre. So back in 2007, we had a lovely little studio called Turtle Rock, which was basically hired by Valve to establish this beautiful campaign shooter known as Left 4 Dead. So this format, I don't think it was the first one, as it basically just, like, would you consider it to be basically like a co-op Resident Evil? Like, Resident Evil obviously was like more like a story type thing, but in terms of the way it played, at least the more modern ones, not the original PlayStation 1 ones. I'm talking about like the Leon Kennedy ones.
Oh, like don't they have like, oh, uh, I know the actual name of it or how they describe. It's like in the moment, there's like in the actual gameplay, there'll be like a moment. It's like, oh, press X, and then there's almost like a,
Oh, a quick time event?
yeah, there you go. Couldn't remember the damn name of it.
Yeah, there was QuickTime events, and basically that was like the original ones. And I don't even know if that was the first ones, but I do remember that the original Resident Evils were huge on QuickTime events, and it basically almost played out like a movie, basically. And sometimes in some games, specifically in AAA title story related games, you have stuff like that, which, I mean, because essentially what we're going to lead up to, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're going to talk about the Marvel Avengers game. And as time went on, going all the way back from Left 4 Dead forward, a lot of big companies have tried to incorporate their IPs to meet that Left 4 Dead co-op campaign style. And several of them have kind of flopped. Like, for example, Sniper Elite. Sniper Elite was a beautiful game. Like, I remember I played that on like my uncle's computer, and this was like late 2000s. This wasn't the early 2000s, because I think the first Sniper Elite came out in the 90s, or it was like 2001, 2000. I don't remember. All I know is that the second game, Sniper Elite 2, was it? Or 1? No, wait. I think it was 1. There was an actual multiplayer aspect to the game, and it functions similar to what you would see in most modern military games, like Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty multiplayer, the Sniper Elite multiplayer looked almost exactly the same, which is crazy, except everyone's a fucking sniper. Yeah, so can you imagine just everybody just choosing a big corner on different sides of the map, and just whoever peeks first?
Well, like the maps on that were a lot smaller, and the like team sizes and everything were smaller too, though, weren't they?
Yeah, and actually most of the multiplayer was just free for all.
Yeah.
So you would only have like 8 people, and it was just 8 people just crowding this one small map. And nowadays in these types of multiplayer games, it's usually who reaches to the top of the map first and kind of just shoots down at everybody. Back then, you couldn't really hide yourself that well, because I think the only options you had in that game in terms of positioning was either proning or standing. I don't even remember if crouching was a thing. Cause yeah, cause I've seen gameplay where someone's like prone, but they're on top of a building, and you can see like their legs sticking out, and like the actual, like the end barrel of the rifle just sticking out as well. So you like, they're not even concealed. You could see them, and then the dude just shoots them in the foot. It's actually pretty funny. But Sniper Elite tried to do the campaign aspect with Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army. I don't know if that name rings a bell for you.
Yeah, it does.
That came around, what year was it? 2014? Because Left 4 Dead 2 came out, I believe 2010. So there was a bit subtle break between the campaign co-op genre, and we saw the rise of Borderlands in between that. And Borderlands claimed itself to be a MMORPG shooter, first-person shooter, where you had the same aspects of a Diablo game where you would just run around collecting stuff, upgrading your stats in order to defeat waves of enemies and a boss, with the help of other people, incorporating the multiplayer aspect with thousands and thousands of players, incorporating the massively multiplayer online aspect, and obviously since it's guns, first person shooter. And then later on down the road we had Destiny. I I can't say I played Destiny, but I can say I haven't played Destiny.
I played it. Well, I've only played the second one.
Ha Considering that you've played both Borderlands and Destiny, what would you say are the subtle differences? Because I feel that they're both kind of the same.
Uh, they are really, cause like you go through the yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just like multiplayer, and you go through the campaign together and everything. In that aspect, and also just going around the map, doing separate challenges to find different guns and all that, upgrading your guns and trading and all that. Really similar, yeah.
Uh, One thing that Destiny does have was that they had more incorporation with keeping the fan base consistently busy with something else that wasn't the story. I remember that obviously they have multiplayer and they have PvP multiplayer, and they have like recurring events, so specific, let's say raids, because I know raids were a thing, right?
Yeah, they still are. It's just, but I mean, like once you finish that, and I think that was like the biggest goal is just, like, hey, let's do all this, get really decked out, and then do the raid. And once you finish the raid, it's like, well, great. Uh, what's the
See
point
you
of
back
all
in like 2 months.
Yeah, it's just like that's what happened with us. Is like we finished the raid. Did we do everything? I think we could have done more with it, but it's like we finished it, and it's just like, all right. They're putting out more guns and stuff, but it's like, well, what's the point? They don't have anything else. And then when they put out the DLCs, it's like we weren't really that interested in it anymore. And somehow, amazingly, is that I don't know, because mm, I don't know how long ago is that like they put out even more content for it,
Uh-huh.
and like just I don't know how much of an addition to the game was, but they added onto it, and it's bringing people back into playing it. It's like, so that game's been out for a few years now, and people are still consistently playing it somehow.
I think the fact that it's free now also adds into it.
Free?
Destiny 2.
Yeah, because, well, what is it? Because I had Destiny 2, that's what I have, but then the expansion thing that they had, you had to pay for that as if it was a totally separate game when it first came out.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I know that a lot of people didn't want to have that exclusivity deal with Epic Games because of the whole slander with the creator of Borderlands and Steam. I forget what it was, but he signed to have the exclusivity with Epic Games on the release of Borderlands 3 first. I don't remember why, but all I remember is that it was a thing. And a lot of people didn't want to go to Epic Games, so people chose to just, oh, I'm just gonna not get it on Epic Games, so I'm just gonna wait until it comes out on Steam. And then Blizzard Activision was like, oh my god, we have so many people who want Borderlands, and for some reason, this homeboy is not putting it on the Steam store. So what I'm gonna do, or what we're gonna do, is that we're gonna give all those PC boys what they want: a better Borderlands, and we'll do it for free. Because they already had the game on the Blizzard client, and there's still some people who don't want to get the Blizzard client because they associate the Blizzard client with World of Warcraft, Overwatch, basically just those two games. And then Activision steps into play with people wanting to play Call of Duty. Granted, not that many PC people want to play Call of Duty because the mentality is if I want to play Call of Duty, I'll just get it on console, which kind of doesn't make sense to me because if you play Rainbow Six on computer, if you play Battlefield, because I've seen people play Battlefield actively on computer as well. Like, why CS:GO, Valorant? Like, why would you not want to just play Call of Duty on computer as well? Like, it makes no sense to me. But to each their own. They were like, we have this market that's available. We already have people who are on here, but the accessibility is what allows bigger player base. So them porting it over from being a Blizzard exclusive to being on Steam added even more people into it. Because I know several people who had no intentions on playing Destiny to suddenly take an interest in playing Destiny. And some of these people were even people who had the Blizzard client. So they went ahead and started downloading it on Steam, spreading the word, and I think they had a promotion as well, like an event for new players when it came out on Steam, so that enforced people to play even more as well as soon as it came out. It's because we got a comment saying it is because COD is a staple of the console market in comparison to the other games which are either staple PC games or flexible. The original Call of Duty games came out on PC. I only say that because I remember I was 3 years old and my parents got my uncle a copy of Call of Duty on PC, and it was like back then when the PC games were in like the huge boxes as big as a Bible. It's literally on video, and my uncle was like, "Oh my god, thanks guys." I'm like, what the hell? We gave my uncle a copy of Call of Duty? What the? That was back in 1990. I don't remember.
Well, you said when you were 3, and you're however old right now.
You know what? You just made me forget again. But I think as soon as they started making things more accessible to console, it became a staple. So yeah, Call of Duty became. Because I believe in the early 2000s when Microsoft started making easier game kits to develop games, like when Master Chief, when Halo came out, they made it so that it was easier to work with consoles rather than keep things on computer. I don't understand how that works too much, but it made sense that they immediately just got Call of Duty and they shoved it down their throats, and they're like, this is what's going to work. It's going to work better on console. Because I think, wasn't the first like big time Call of Duty specifically on console, wasn't that like World at War?
I think maybe.
I think it was the one where like the dudes are like, they're like pointing at a flying missile that's coming in towards the screen. It's like, ah, and then one dude's on the ground. He's like, ah. I don't remember, but I think that's what it was. World at War. You know what's another title I remember? Medal of Honor.
Oh yeah.
That was another very popular title. Although back to concurrent news.
You've been called a boomer, by the way.
I read this comment and I chose to oversee it, but thank you. I lost my train of thought. So we went back. Did we went back? No. Okay, goddamn! I had to reset my brain real quick.
You talking about last thing you mentioned was Medal of Honor.
Well, with Destiny and Borderlands, we had also that MMORPG aspect covered, and it was accessible to PC players. And the Call of Duty stuff, that's all different. That's all separate. But with the whole announcement of Marvel Avengers resurging more hype into the old co-op campaign thing, and originally Crystal Dynamics in partnership with Square Enix, or should I say Square Enix in partnership with Crystal Dynamics, because they're the developing team and Square Enix is just, I guess, the first party developer. They're not the in-house developer. A lot of people are blaming Square Enix, but initially Square Enix had all that bank from making the Marvel Spider-Man PS4 game, which is the best. People say it's the best-selling PlayStation game of all time. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I've read. but it is the best-selling PS4 game of all time, and it's now getting port forwarded to. It's getting a port for PS5. And supposedly, if you own the game, you will automatically own the game on PS5 and have access to play Miles Morales, which I believe is the first character to be added that is not Peter Parker, because you can only play as Peter Parker, if I remember. You can only play as Peter Parker with the ability to swap between different costumes. So, and now that I realize it, the way they swap between different costumes also adds into the same thing that Marvel Avengers has, with being able to swap between different costumes that are referencing between different comics, movies, and so on and so forth, while maintaining the same style that is given through the game itself. Because they set their own story, which also confuses me too, because now we're going to fully fledge into the current topic of today, ladies and gentlemen, which is Marvel Avengers. A lot of people complained about the story. Okay, that is the biggest number one problem. Okay, I played the game, I've completed the whole campaign, and I can say that the story is a bit tiresome. Like, I feel that they didn't really know where to take it, and they decided to just come up with their own story, which for some reason people were like immediately iffy about as soon as they booted up the game, because the first thing you see is Marvel Avengers. People already have seen the movie. People are expecting a lot of things from the movie or expecting a lot of things from the game because of the whole namesake. But then people go back to Spider-Man and don't expect the same, only because it has the same curse that the Sonic movie had, where so many people were just like, Sonic has had so much bad reputation that anytime anything Sonic comes out, people just tend to go, oh, you know what, I have to check it out, I have to see it's bad. Almost like if the Sonic fan base is just hate playing, hate watching, hate listening the entire time. And I get it, because sometimes there's games and TV shows, movies that come out for specific intellectual properties that they're a bit sight for sore eyes, and they left a lot to be desired. And with the plague of the Sonic curse, I believe that people had the same notion for Spider-Man. They were like, oh, you know what? We've had the Sam Raimi franchise, we've had the Andrew Garfield franchise, and we have Tom Holland now. There's a lot of things. Spider-Man has been through a lot. Let's give him a break. So maybe that's what they did with the game, and it came out to be amazing. And the game has an original story, and granted, its story takes place in a very loose timeline with the actual comics, because it takes place after Peter Parker is old. Like, he's already an adult, and he's already been through the whole Spider-Man life. Think of it as like old Batman. I don't even know if that's an actual thing, but
I mean, technically, yeah, because Batman Beyond.
Batman. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
When he's older.
Yep, you're right. So this is like that. So basically, they did Spider-Man Beyond, basically, and a lot of people really liked it because it wasn't Peter acting like a child anymore. It was just Peter just getting into touch with himself as an adult and just understanding the gravity of different situations. And I guess since he's an adult and he's done a lot of things, he's taken care of a lot of people, a lot of problems. The city is somewhat safe, so you're free to be in the open world, which is what that game is. Is basically all Spider-Man games. Basically, it was trying to build up to be an open world game, similar to what we see in like Grand Theft Auto and similar to what we see in like The Legend of Zelda, basically. And that game did well because it followed those criteria exactly. They brought along a lot of people, Square Enix specifically. They brought along Insomniac Games, and Insomniac Games, they gave us the blessings of the Ratchet and Clank franchise and the Spyro franchise. And those were great games with great platforming, story, visuals, and as well as open world mechanics like such as flying, like Spyro, beautiful flying. The Ratchet and Clank games, a lot of like beautiful visuals with some flying with like spaceships. The grinding, levels where you on the like these little rail boots that you can grind on rails. That shit was so smooth on those games. And then they try to recreate it in Sonic Heroes, and it was a bit. Actually, I don't even know if they stopped at Sonic Heroes. I think they started doing it in a bunch of Sonic games, but that whole like skating thing was pretty fucking cool. So they went ahead and they added a lot of that stuff into the Spider-Man game, being able to just zip back and forth, climb walls and shit. It really made you feel like Spider-Man. So I believe that's what did the game justice. And Square Enix is like, okay, it's a single player game, and a lot of people are probably asking, why don't we just have this co-op mode for the game? And they thought, no, because then it's gonna cost a lot of money, it's gonna cost a lot of work. What if we just expand our universe and incorporate more characters, so that way we can have diverse characters within our game universe and even more abilities for people to play different characters, all the while experiencing the same great quality that is given by Square Enix. Because I think the graphics are kind of the same, because the people are kind of pudgy on Marvel Avengers, but the Spider-Man game, at least people who you can actually see their faces, the textures are kind of the same. Because as soon as you see Marvel Avengers, people always say like, it doesn't look like you're playing the Avengers, it doesn't feel like you're playing the Avengers, they don't even look like them. I'm like, well, they don't, but they don't look god awful. I mean, that's the first thing that came to my head, because I saw Captain America, and obviously he's not wearing the same suit Chris Evans is wearing, so the first thing that came to my head was like, alright, I mean, it's a bit different, and then I look closely, I'm like, you know what, what he's wearing actually makes sense, because what he's wearing is actually something you would see someone in the military wear as a parajumper today. Because he's wearing, I'm pretty sure you've seen this before, but people when they wear vests and they have like little patches, like little pockets in the front where they usually put their knives and stuff.
Yeah.
He has one of those. He doesn't have anything in them, but he has them. They're little pockets, and that's exactly where he has like little, like the red white American flag theme.
I'd like to imagine that he just has a bunch of mini shields in them.
Or he has like he has like a bunch of like Burt's Bees lip balm in there.
Or just some backup magnets.
Backup magnets.
Yeah.
Another thing that they have for the shield, now that you mentioned magnets, is that for the shield has two clamps to put his arm in, but the first one is a leather strap, and the second one is actually it's a rail, which usually when you hold a riot shield, you usually have a rail, like two rails that you put your hands on, so you can kind of do like a battery ram. Avengers business cards, yep. I mean, we all need those. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have them in there. I don't know where the Hulk would keep his though. Would you think he'd keep them in his hair?
No, you can keep it in one of his pockets because his parents never fully rip off.
Oh, true. You know what? It's funny because in the game they actually mention like how his pants never rip off. I'm like, wow, breaking the fourth wall. Nature's pocket. Oh boy.
That's called a prison pocket.
A prison pocket. It's
It's
fucking
called a
gross.
prison pocket.
That's
It
fucking
is. That's what it's called.
gross. No.
It's the prison pocket.
Now I can't finish my food. That's gross. Okay, but so the characters look different, but there's a lot of things that are changing their costumes to make sense. So Captain Rogers has a lot of different things that make sense for his costume, as the film counterpart had to make things also simplified and humane in order for people to go, okay, you know what, that makes sense, which a lot of people don't appreciate, because one thing that I've seen from the DCEU films is that it's overly saturated with unnatural unhuman like abilities and weaponry. And as we could see from the first Justice League film, like the fighting didn't feel genuine. It felt like there was too much of god,
CGI. So
yeah, CGI, and in just logistics in general. Like it's a bunch of unearthly god like figures fighting each other, and then there's just Bruce. I mean, which in at the end of the day, that is what it is. But like, I don't know. I feel like the way they portrayed Bruce in that film was just really weak.
um, the Bruce Wayne that was supposed to be in that one, or like the Batman was like after, because they hint at that like this is after they didn't say, never said which Robin died necessarily, but as you can see like in one of the scenes where he's standing there and it's just the Joker wrote all over the Robin costume. So like people are saying that like that's supposed to be Jason Todd.
Yeah, the one that is that the one that got his face beaten with a fucking crowbar.
Uh, yeah, he's the one that got beat by a crowbar and then died because Joker set up explosives and that whole thing. So it was supposed to be that one, you know, that's. But they never actually said like which one it was and why Batman was the way. And that's what I didn't like about. Oh no, I'm thinking of I'm thinking of Superman versus.
No, yeah, that's that one. That's Ben Affleck.
No, but you said Justice League. That's why.
But isn't it? Well, that was right after, no?
No, they had Justice League after.
The
Well,
Batman
yeah,
of Superman.
yeah, and that's what I didn't like is that the whole order that they were going because
Because it felt like
it's
it was smushed in order to make the Justice League, right?
yeah, it's like it was supposed to be in reverse where it's just like they had. I mean, because obviously comics are just storylines are like they're everywhere. There's nothing. They're not all connected to one thing, but there's consistency somewhere, and that's what I didn't like is that I'm like, why are they doing this movie
Civil War.
before Justice League?
I guess they just wanted the. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense because obviously Avengers happen and then Civil War happens. Not
Yeah,
Civil War, then Avengers. Because then you had
yeah,
that god awful fight between Superman and all the fucking four Justice League homeboys and homegirl.
yeah. It's just. I mean, like it didn't really make sense. And then they just they smushed stuff in there to make it make sense, and it's just like, oh, we introduced everyone, and this is how Justice League happens. And they had the death of Superman happen at like the very beginning. Like, no, this happens way down the line. It's like I haven't really like read the comics, but I've kept up with like stuff about it and watched just like short stuff on comics and stories and everything about it. But it's just like at least I know that, or at least even watching from like the animated shows and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like it makes no, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to like, hey, this is how Batman and Superman meet. They're gonna fight, and now this is how you introduce all the characters. Well, he dies, and then they come back to fight this big villain. That doesn't make sense that way.
Yeah, it's like it's imagine if they were to do that in Marvel. It's like, you know what? Tony Stark is dead. But what if he wasn't dead? What if he died, but he died so hard he came back to life? Cuz
Yeah.
well, granted that's if you think about it, they kind of did that with Black Widow. Granted, the film, her solo film, took place before all this. I I felt it was extremely out of place, but it makes sense that they were trying to avert their attention away from Hydra and away from the Black Order, and they wanted to focus more on AIM with the introduction of the corporation and Taskmaster. And we still yet to see how exactly he comes into play, because if he's already donning the suit and he has already worked, like he's already trained, because in the trailer we see the Taskmaster has a shield, he has Well, he has a sword which he hardly fucking uses because he's just like, hey, you know what? What if I just use bullet? Because he fucking takes out an RPG, takes out like an assault rifle at some point, and then when he's like 1v1ing Black Widow on the goddamn bridge, he doesn't take out the sword. He gets his fucking face kicked, and then he's like, you know what? Fuck it. And then he just goes sicko mode, and then he takes out claws like the Black Panther. I'm like, okay, hold up. Hold up. He's supposed to train to learn how to fight like the Avengers. Like, that was his original purpose. Because if you think about it, the aspects he had was that he has technology. He was able to he actually had a jetpack. Like in the old comics, he actually had a jetpack. But that was his second form of transport. First form of transport was actually grapple hooking. I don't even remember why they incorporated Spider-Man swinging, but he has to get around somehow, and I guess that's how they did it. And the jetpack stuff was supposed to be Tony Stark tech, and then at some point he has rocket boots, and in the game and in the film, I think he has rocket boots. I'm not too sure. But the sword is to mimic the strength of Mjolnir, like the vibrations that it causes. It doesn't cause shock, but it does cause tremor. So if he hits you with it, you actually like get seismic concussive blows. And then the shield is just, well, very straightforward as to what that's referencing to. And he's supposed to be pumped with gamma blood. So that means that the homeboy can probably break your skull, unlike Mr. Crossbones, who was the MCU Crossbones is super weak. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah, like I remember seeing about it. I'm like, is that a character I should know? And I think you remember you telling me. I'm like, oh, he sounds badass. Watching the film, really? That's it?
Yeah, cause he's supposed to be basically like Marvel Bane. Like, really, that's kind of what he was. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, all right, he's got gauntlets. Okay, gets clocked. Oh. Like, it was very interesting
Oh,
to see him punch a car, but
oh, y'all really don't care about this character, do you?
like,
And the way he died, oh, y'all really don't care about it.
yeah, because I feel like they try to make the tensions between Cap and Hydra like super, I guess, prominent because they needed to fucking finish off Hydra. And my assumption is with Civil War, that's kind of how they wanted to end it. And they were like, guess what? Hydra's not done yet because we've never seen the last of Baron Zemo. And I'm like, okay, like, don't get me wrong, the Russo brothers are amazing, and which, by the way, they were on resort 2 days ago to go check on Avengers campuses. That's still going to be a thing if you're here. If you're a California listener, Disneyland is still going through with building the Avengers Initiative campus, and Nintendo Land is now under construction in Universal Studios Hollywood. You've heard it here on the International Dong Squad podcast, DONGCAST. But originally, I guess they wanted to have more interactions between all four members, which would be Captain America, Baron, Bucky, and I wouldn't say Red Skull, but Red Skull does have a daughter, and she's the one who kind of keeps in tabs with Taskmaster, Baron Zemo, and Crossbones. Like, all of them all of them are in the same thing, and that's towards when Hydra was dying, and Red Skull's daughter was the one who was like, okay, you know what? We don't have to live by Hydra's rules. We can just continue manufacturing all these amazing weapons that can make us more powerful. To which, that could be something that comes out in the future of the Marvel Avengers game, where they go that route and they start incorporating more villains that are attuned to each character. Because I don't know if you want to be into spoilers, which I should have probably mentioned this from the start. If you haven't played the game, I would say tune back another time because we'll be talking a little bit about the spoilers and very loosely. But we do have a glimpse of Abomination, who is a villain that we see that's recurrent in the Hulk series. I don't know if you know who that is. He's basically like a sea monster, big sea dude.
Well, that's not how they portrayed him in the Hulk movie.
Nope, they did not. But
They just made ugly looking ass Hulk.
yeah, he actually looked more fleshy, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He looked fleshy, and uh I don't remember the movie that much, but I think it was supposed to be Bruce's dad.
Uh, no, it was that was Abomination.
Yeah, because I remember I think it's like someone like his dad injected himself with gamma,
No, it was a military guy.
but
I think.
I'll have to watch the films again. But I do remember Abomination being a fleshy looking dude, and I'm like, oh, you know what, Abomination is pretty dope. And then I think after I saw that, I wasn't really in touch with my Hulk lore, and I still am not. But as far as I remember, Abomination has this run-in with uh with Namor, who is Marvel's Aquaman, and
I was like, who the hell's Namor? And I'm like, oh, he means Namor.
I keep saying Namor and people say Namer, but I've also heard people not disagree with how I pronounce it. So if Namor is incorrect, to all the people who told me that Namor is okay, you guys have a lot of apologizing to do.
I think it's just because I've like seen an animated movie of Marvel and they said Namor. I could have sworn they said Namor, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Imagine they say Mr. Nam Nam.
It's just something completely different. Like the way it's pronounced is nowhere near what is like. It sounds if you see how it's spelled.
Ah, yes, Mr. Blake Shelton. Hello. I almost said Blake Sheldon.
What's the name?
Blake Sheldon? I'm pretty sure a person exists. Blake Sheldon, if you're watching this, hi, how are you? And,
What is the name?
what?
Is that a country singer?
Blake Shelton is the country singer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The one that's currently banging Gwen Stefani.
No doubt.
It took me a second to digest that. Holy shit, that was great. Man, you know, as more people come to realize that artists and their craft sometimes involve more people than themselves in order to create that certain craft, people lose sense of reality of how well they should really be regarded in terms of, you know, if this is good or if this is bad. Like, I'm not saying if they worked hard and it sounds bad, make them feel bad about it, but if they had a team to work on it, so sometimes things go underappreciated. The same as how Marvel Avengers was made. Because I feel like the Crystal Dynamics worked their asses off trying to make this game. And a lot of people are giving shit for... A lot of people are giving it shit, like in general. And most of these players are console players. Now, I'm not trying to say that console players are all bad, because then I'm once again referring to the whole giving bad rep for something that is going unaccredited. A lot of people don't seem to see how well this is managing the revival of the co-op campaign genre. Rewind a whole lot back to the beginning of this whole Dong Squad podcast, DONGCAST. I've played a lot of co-op games, and this by far, at least for giving each character its own living, breathing kit that separates the way they're played, is insanely good. Like, granted, there's a lot of graphical problems, and it's poorly optimized for PC, which makes no sense to me because I get a bit confused as to how a PC can't run it, but a PS4 and an Xbox One can. Like, these consoles have been out since like we graduated high school, basically before, right? Like they
Ye-
came out like in 2013, no?
I think so,
Like
yeah.
2013, 2014 they came out. So
Yeah.
these are pretty, they're not old consoles, but they've been around for a while. Like they've been around for a while and their graphical capabilities stay the same because you can't necessarily upgrade a console. You can give more storage. Can you upgrade a console? Like I don't think you can put more RAM or like change a graphics card on a console.
No, you can't do that. The upgrade is getting like the newer, so like with the Xbox One, the upgraded version of it was the Xbox S. The
Yeah,
slim version and that, and then like with the PlayStation, was it PlayStation Slim? Was it?
PS4
Or
Pro.
yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah, so
That's the upgraded thing.
yeah, so a a console that came out in 2013 can play a game that's made in 2020 with the promise is that like because I'm pretty the whole Marvel Avengers game, I've seen commercials on it on the goddamn Nvidia control panel experience, where it's like make sure to upgrade to the Nvidia RTX 3000 whatever, so you can play Marvel and get a discount on Marvel Avengers. I'm like, oh, cool. So it's like the game looks great, but for some reason it just runs like shit on fucking PC. Like I have to I feel like I have to dumb down the graphics to the point I'm playing goddamn like GoldenEye and I still can't play the game. And I'm like, what the hell? And then the consoles are like, you know what, this game sucks. I'm like, yeah, dude, tell me about it. The graphics are just make it unplayable. And you're like, what are you talking about? No, the story's lame. I'm like, bro, really? Like the story, I was able to finish it basically in one day. Is that something that's good? No, but I've seen people brag about finishing games in like 6 hours and shit. So I'm like, so what makes the difference here? But I mean, that's what the whole multiplayer is for. Multiplayer, at least I've heard, and I've done research. Supposedly, the console experience for multiplayer is way much better than it is on PC. So I literally did an experiment, and I sat in a lobby, queuing up, waiting for people to join in for like public matchmaking for a mission on Marvel Avengers, and it took me legit 1 hour and 48 minutes for me to get matched up with two people. Enough, because the maximum players you can have is 4 players. So it was a party of 3. Then we had a random bot because it usually puts you with 4, so it'll fill in the empty spaces with just an NPC or a bot. It took us forever to load in, and then once we loaded in, it took like another 15 minutes just to see the goddamn refreshing loading screen. Then we got in, and as soon as we loaded in, I noticed that the characters that were selected, like the characters that spawned next to me, were characters that I did not like. That were not being played by the people that selected those heroes. So I'm like, oh, so that means that they fucking left. I'm like, God fucking damn it. And I've heard that on console, there's too many people playing the same. In console, I've heard that it takes long to queue because people are playing the same characters. Like too many people are playing the same of one specific character, which is not a thing in this game. Like for example, let's say you like the Hulk. If you want to play a game and you match up online and you want to play as the Hulk, you might take a while because there's a lot of people who want to play the Hulk. Because you can only have one Hulk per team. You can have 4 Hulks. I mean that sounds amazing, but Jesus, I could just imagine the goddamn graphics that are going on. Just a bunch of green flying rock shits flying everywhere.
Side note, because I was watching like Let's Play it, and they made a good point. It's just like, really? I think that's overkill that you're throwing the Hulk at just mere men.
Yeah. A lot of people also kind of immediately think of power sense, which do you? I like to take into account that the Batman games did really well because not only did it resurrect the whole spy genre, the espionage titles such as Metal Gear and Splinter Cell.
Stealth aspects.
Yeah, the stealth aspects did it as well, but with a comic book character, and it was good. It worked smoothly, and Batman's a dude, like he's just a guy, literally
Yeah.
just a guy with a lot of money and a lot of anger issues.
Oh yeah.
So it makes sense that he throwing Batman into a scenario where he's against like 8 dudes with knives. It's like, oh hell yeah, go crazy, Batman. Like it makes sense, but then throwing Hulk into a scenario where there's 8 dudes, it's like, oh no, poor guys. But when you play the game, it doesn't feel that way. Like it takes a while for you to beat up a dude who's just wearing a hazmat suit, and you're the goddamn Hulk. Like I get it, but how else would you play the game if you instantly one shot everything? Like if you were to play with your friends and you're a Hulk main, you would literally just press the number one, like the key number one, and then just explode, and then everything is defeated, and you're like, all right, cool. Hit
My
me.
only, my only thing that you can like make it make sense is that you visibly and somehow make it apparent that these guys are just not normal men. That I don't know. You could say it's some serum or just like some equipment or armor or some shit that makes them like superhuman. That they could take these fucking hits from a Hulk. But
There's some that are robots, and robots can take a beating, and some of the enemies have weapons that quote unquote lower, like they weaken the heroes, like because and actually makes sense because there's different projectiles in the game, and they have different properties. Like there's elements in this game, which is funny because in almost every Marvel game that involves co-op, like have you heard of Marvel Superhero Super Squad, like the little kid game where everybody looks like Lego people, like they look like Lego people.
is
Uh,
that based off the show?
yeah, the Marvel Hero
Okay
Super
then.
Squad. Yeah,
Yeah.
they had games on that, and then Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and now this game too. They all have elements that are like each character has attributes that involve elements. Like obviously some include fire, some include ice, some include like poison, and some include shock. It makes sense. It makes sense. But the enemies can do that too, so it's like, all right, cool. But in a game like that where it's just dudes, it's a bit weird. But mentally, I can I can process it, but it's something I never really care about. But a lot to some people it matters. Like some dude can be like a shock trooper, or like a. I'm referring to the Star Wars one because I can't really describe it anywhere else. But like the dudes that are on jetpacks and they have like a gun, you see that a lot in like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like some of them can either shoot like a ball of lightning at you, like a shock ball, or they shoot just straight up fire from a flamethrower, or just a bullet that literally freezes you, like literally ice shards. Now, how can you tell? You can't. You literally just eat the attack and then you find out. Compared to other games, it usually tells you, or you can just assume because it's like, oh well, the boss has fucking lava rocks on his head. Obviously, he's gonna burn my ass. Like it makes sense. This game doesn't do that. Like Abomination, what the hell would you do with Abomination? Poison maybe? No, he doesn't do that. He just brutalizes you. And a lot of other quote unquote mini bosses. I think it's just him. Just Taskmaster, him, a robot, and MODOK. That's it. There's only 4 bosses. And let me tell you one thing. The last boss was a quick time event.
Well then.
Yeah, so imagine playing it in the Arkham games. Were there quick time events?
Um. Yeah.
I know our person who's watching this, uh he played the Arkham games too, and I've been meaning to try them, but I will see. Maybe we can do backseat gaming on that one, Joe.
Good.
So what will happen is that you'll be playing the game, and I'll be like, all right, cool. Go into that room, open the door, close the door, sit down in the chair, like stuff like that.
I've only actually played the first one, and then I've watched like gameplay of was it Arkham City, Arkham Knight. Only 3, right? Yeah, I don't remember.
The last one, there's 3, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was 3, and I just watched the gameplay on those ones.
Arkham Origins was one of them, I think.
Wasn't that the? Let me look it up right now.
I know there was one that was basically all influenced by just the Joker.
It goes Arkham Asylum. That's the one I played. Arkham City. That's what I watched. Yeah, Arkham Origins, and then Arkham Knight. Why do I not remember Origins?
I think Arkham Origins is only. I remember Arkham Origins is on the 3DS.
No, okay, no. I do remember this one. Oh yeah, this one's pretty sick because this was the one where like,
You could play as Robin, no?
yes, but the whole thing is that you got multiple villains going after Batman.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's like a bunch of different boss boss fights and everything. Like looking at it, I think was it Black Mass sends out a hit? I don't remember, but I just remember like watching the gameplay of it. The campaign is pretty sick, and like watching the boss battles are pretty sick too.
Yeah. Because, I know with Gotham Knights coming up, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to try and keep the gameplay similar to, well, the Arkham series. Because the Marvel Avengers game, a lot of it, a lot of the combat comes from the games they were from respectively, like the Avengers and their prominent titles. Like Captain America. Actually, the game is called Captain America Super Soldier. And he, in that game, as I mentioned this before, if you were watching Kevin's stream the other night, a lot of stuff in this game inspired Chris Evans' Captain America to not only fight differently, but also function differently as a soldier. In terms of being someone who's just not punching and punching all the time and just I win, I could do this all day, blah 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 blah. No, he's just some dude who's actually going in and doing intel, because the amount of times we've seen Captain fight is actually less than we've seen Captain America just sit there in a room and just watch people. Which makes sense, because it's easier for him to survey something than cause a fight and potentially die from it, because at the end of the day, he's technically still just a dude. Technically. There's always a big meme when I play with my friends, because one of them mains Hulk, the other one mains Thor. Like, Thor, he just fucking flies. Like, as soon as we spawn, he just fucking flies away. Hulk, he can just jump across the map, and I'm like, alright, here we go. And it just fucking sprint to the other side of the map. But it takes you forever to get there. So
you say we could do this all day?
yeah, it's just like, I should do that. I should just like have like a fucking voice command. It's just like, I could do this all day. I could do this all day. I could do this all day. Just like running across the map. What's funny too is that you can actually hold. You can obviously you can hold the shield as Captain America and block shit, but you can do it while running. So you just see just some random dude just run in a straight line and just eat projectiles and not die. because you can upgrade your abilities and you can upgrade things from the character, like different attributes, and make them function the way you want it, quote unquote. Even though, basically, when you reach level, I think level 100 on each character individually, you can basically just, it's kind of like the Borderlands skill tree. I don't know. Supposedly they said that the Destiny format is that they copy Destiny. Like the way the menus look and everything look exactly the same. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it's kind of hard to come up with your own original looking skill tree, but whatever. But basically, at the end of the day, you're probably gonna get all the abilities unless you choose not to, like, if you choose not to upgrade a specific ability or acquire an ability at all. Like that's the only way you don't upgrade abilities. Like you can't. It's also you can't reset them. So let's say you accidentally put a point into an ability that you didn't want. You can't. You can't revert it. Like Square Enix has said that they have nothing. There's no way to do it. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do it at some point. But like I said, if you really think about it, when you reach endgame, you're probably just gonna have all the abilities already, so it doesn't even matter. But sometimes it just changes the way you play because there's some attacks that require you to hold down a button, and that's the way you separate the combat from other combat, because the combat is fluid as fuck. People say the combat is lackluster, especially for Captain America, but I'm like, there's so many different ways you can play. Like there's so many different ways you can fight an enemy. It almost feels like even if you were beating up random dudes, like normal humans, and you're a goddamn superhero, it's kind of soothing for me to just experiment on different combos to just keep myself entertained. That it almost feels okay to have a high health guy who's just wearing a hazmat suit, and I'm beating the shit out of him, and I am a human that's injected with the super soldier serum that can probably break your face if I punch you. Like, at least in my case, it kind of feels a little bit better that they're harder to kill. And I mean, who doesn't like a little challenge, you know? Right? You're right.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what you would do.
In terms of what?
Because I wasn't sure if there was an actual like question or like a rhetorical
Oh
one.
no, no.
You got quiet. I'm just like,
You're like, fuck. What do I say? Well, but yeah, I like a little bit of a challenge. So I played the game on hard mode, at least the story campaign. I played it on hard mode, and it was easy at first, but then as the story went on, it actually got a little bit harder. And when I got to the end, it was actually hard as fuck, which kind of made me relieved that the last boss was a quick time event, because I was like, you know what? Thank God I don't have to deal with all this goddamn bullcrap. And I just chill and I just watch basically a cutscene and finish the game. I wonder if I'm gonna mention a game right now, and I want to hear your reaction. Assassin's Creed Unity.
uh,
Have you played that?
I didn't play it. I don't remember it though.
It's basically co-op Assassin's Creed. Because the whole thing was like you have four guys. It's four of you, like four assassins. Like I think I saw the cover and it was like Altair, Ezio, and like I forgot the name of the other one. Connor. Was one of them called Connor?
Yeah, but that was like during this. Oh yeah. It was that one. Wait, what? It wasn't they weren't in this one though? The main guy's name was Connor.
No, Assassin's Creed Unity like showed all of them just like next to each other.
The cover?
I think. No, like it was
No.
like it was a trailer.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, no, the cover something. Yeah, the main guy's name is Connor, and this is during like, did I say Civil War? The Revolutionary War, or the Revolution. Yeah.
Yes.
Or like at this time when this one came out, I thought it was pretty interesting because Altair and Ezio, that was like, I don't remember the time era. But it was like
Wasn't it during like
in
the
Europe.
Renaissance?
Yeah, it's like in Europe in that area over there, and then like it it was closer in time, and then you get to this one where it's like all the way over here, and then just showing how much like how it spreads out the what were they?
Unity?
Yeah, no, like the assassins. I don't remember like what they were. They're part of something because like they go against the Templars and yeah.
I I I haven't played the game too much, if not at all. But
I
like,
mean, I've only really played. First one I played was Brotherhood, and that one was pretty fun. And then just after that, I was still because I watched gameplay campaign for Unity, and I forgot what else. And then like they just started going like in a bunch of different directions, and like they kind of, as far as I know, talking with like Mondo and Berto, saying they kind of strayed a little bit away from like what they were doing in the beginning in terms of the
like the
what's it called?
storyline.
Kind of like because it would be what was the main guy's name? I can't remember the main guy's name in present time because he would go back to the Animus. You'd use that to go back into a past life or something like that, and that's how he ended up in like past life of assassin and everything and finding this stuff and historical things and yeah. I don't fully know the whole story and lore behind it because I started at Brotherhood. Yeah. But as far as I know, hearing from them is like they kind of went away from that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that's what seems to be the case, at least for from what I've seen, because I think I own the Black Flag collect. I don't even remember what it's called, but Black Flag is in it. It's for the Switch. I haven't fucking played it, but it's there. Maybe,
Black Flag 2 when I got the Xbox One because it came with it, and I started playing it, and I never finished it.
well, maybe we can also do a let's play with that. Have Joe do a speed run. Can you speed?
Let's speed one.
Can you speed run? Imagine you find
Probably not.
imagine you find a glitch that involves you like being able to drive the boat, but like through walls and shit.
See, that was something that I didn't like too much about that game. Like, well, at first I thought it was pretty sick, is that you get to actually drive the boat, but when you have the when you're having fights between, it's just a pain in the ass having to line it up, fire the cannon, getting the right distance of how far to shoot. I'm like, oh, this is a pain in the ass.
Almost like they should have made a multiplayer so you can have people on a ship.
Yeah.
But Unity flopped, although I don't know why. Like,
I don't know either.
cause it
Like just looking at it right now, it says 6 out of 10 on Steam for some reason.
it was actually the first. I think Unity was the first Assassin's Creed to show up on Steam. Then they released all the other Assassin's Creed on Steam.
Hmm.
Assassin's Creeds. Cree.
Assassino.
Ah, hell yeah. But that flopped, and hopefully, well, technically Ubisoft is kind of trying to keep themselves in the game. I don't know if you saw, but Scott Pilgrim game is coming back too.
Oh yeah, you're telling me about that.
I was like, hell yeah! It's actually gonna be on Switch too. So, you've heard it here on the first international Dong Squad podcast, DONGCAST. We're gonna be playing Scott Pilgrim versus the World on the Nintendo Switch in a live stream when it comes out during the holidays, because I think that's what they said. So like December. But you heard it here first on the first international Dong Squad podcast, DONGCAST live. I'm tired. And I think Joe is as well. He's probably falling asleep.
I'm awake right now.
He's all like, we were talking about boats and flags and assassins and Batman. I'm ready.
Because we still gotta record too.
Yep. Right now we're going to you live right before we're doing a recording session when Kevin is literally on the other side of the gate trying to get in. I don't know why you trying to get on our side of the club. You can't even. I don't even know if that was the lyrics. You can't even get in. No, you're not gonna do the Lego. Okay, cool.
I was too busy trying to think about if it was actually the lyrics or not.
Did you actually search for the lyrics?
No, I was thinking in my head.
You were, you were thinking in your head.
Yeah, I was like playing it in my head.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Well, also thinking, but where else would you think besides your head?
Out loud.
Oh, you know what? You got me there. All right, next time we'll see you. Gotham Knights will be out, and we'll be having Joe making the angry rant.
Sure.
He's gonna be like, "The game's actually pretty good." All right, see you. Either that, they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it so that you cry your ass off because Bruce Wayne is dead. Do you think he's gonna be dead?
I have no idea.
Because in the initial trailer, like at the very beginning, they show that he's dead. And in the Marvel Avengers game, the trailer kind of loosely also. Well, yeah, the trailer said that Captain America was dead because they even put like a goddamn statue. That statue is actually my goddamn screen. It's my desktop wallpaper. It's the statue, yeah. So I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna do the same. Like it's like, oh, he's dead. Oh wait, he's not. Ooh. And then everyone's gonna be mad because like we thought you died, and he's like, well, I'm not. Okay, aren't you happy? I mean, yeah, but fuck you.
I mean, there is a storyline where they thought Bruce was dead.
You've heard it here first, folks. Joe 21K debunked the story of Gotham Knights on the first international Dong Squad podcast, DONGCAST. Imagine if you actually just cracked it immediately, because I kind of already assumed what was going to happen in the Marvel Avengers game before even it came out, or before they actually had the story. Although I do have to say, like out of all the characters in the Gotham Knights game, the Red Hood looks dope.
Oh yeah, I saw his player model.
I was like, bro, you get to swap between using projectiles. Well, all of them have projectiles, but he has guns. Although, what the hell is Robin using a... Is that his staple weapon, a cane?
The staff?
Oh,
Yeah.
the staff? Is it just a staff?
Yeah. Like from the, remember Teen Titans show?
Yeah, I remember it loosely.
Yeah, it's that.
I don't remember if it ever comes apart and uses it like batons, but
Uh, I don't remember if he does.
because I remember the Lego Batman game, and he actually uses them as batons, like he can actually separate them. But I was like, but Nightwing also has batons too, so I'm confused. Or does Nightwing just do what he wants?
Essentially, yeah.
Because he has that, Nightwing has that, and then Red Hood's just Red Hood. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, because Nightwing was... The reason why he became Nightwing is because he wanted to do his own thing away from Batman.
And then Red Hood is just Red Hood.
Oh, he's a mad motherfucker. He's salty.
He's also...
Yeah, because, like, the whole thing is that, like... Well, he died, and then he got brought back by the Lazarus Pit, and because that, you get a bloodlust and everything when you come back, and then he's just, like, kept blaming Batman for him dying. Which, I mean... Technically, yeah, it was his fault, but at the same time...
He's
I
just...
don't know.
Same time, he's just a man.
Well, okay, I mean, if we're really being real about it, it was the fans' fault for why he died.
Did people just not like him?
Uh, yeah, people just didn't like him, and literally in the back of one comic, they put like a poll asking like, "Oh, call in." Well, I think it was that, but so there was a poll, and you call this number, and it was a voting thing to kill off Jason Todd.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was literally that, just because I don't know, I guess just people weren't really, he wasn't doing well as a Robin, so like they put that out, and I guess that there was this one guy just he had this certain system that just was calling so often that just, the poll just went, it ended up being that like, oh yeah, kill him off. So that's what happens, that he got killed off in a brutal ass way where Jason's Todd, his mom got found like somewhere in Africa, is like, I forgot what she was doing, but basically it was the whole setup by the Joker, kidnapped her, said she was a warehouse, he comes and then he captures Jason Todd, beats him to death, has explosives rigged, and before Batman gets there, it explodes.
Fuck.
Yeah. And all because people, I mean, that one guy apparently, and then other people. And then when that happened, like people were so outraged, like, you really killed the mom? It's like, well, fuck, we can't do anything. And the use the Lazarus Pit loophole and brought him back. And now he's just this angry son of a bitch, just actually going and killing villains.
Sounds kind of dope though. It sounds like it's kind of like Punisher. He's kind of like yeah.
Yeah, but he's more of a teen angst
Oh,
Punisher,
well,
honestly.
yeah.
It not no Punisher is just flat out brutal. I'm like, what?
Punisher's just like Gerard Butler, mad.
Yeah.
Jason Todd is like uh Robert Pattinson, mad. I don't know. He looked pretty dope in the Batman trailer though. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah.
I was surprised when I saw that he was casted. I'm like, really? We're gonna get Sparkle Boy here?
Opinions, go.
From the trailer?
Yes.
I like the whole mood of it. I liked because just a big thing that I like, the in contrast of like DC versus Marvel, is that DC is like more dark and gritty.
Yeah, it's extremely gritty. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially like with Batman, is that like, I like that type of stuff, and I like how his villains are like, it's more of like a psychological warfare and stuff like that from with most of his villains against, because he's a detective and everything. Outside of him like beating a man that any normal man would just die from it, but they're just broken arm and everything.
Yeah.
uh yeah, it's just, it's all that apparently this movie is gonna be more on the side of him being him, a detective,
Yeah.
and
Like working
yeah,
closely with the police, right? Because it
uh
looked like he was like on really good terms
oh, that one scene.
with Gotham PD because every single in the Nolan North in the Christopher Nolan films, like it looked like no one ever wanted to work with Batman, and Commissioner Gordon was just kind of like that one dude in the middle.
Well, okay, see, now that you bring that up, that might be something I might have a little bit of an issue with, because this is supposed to be like year one Batman or whatever. I don't know year one, but this is his early stages of him becoming Batman. If that's the case, if he's close, that shouldn't, no, that doesn't come like way until like way
What
later in his career.
trust with the city?
Yeah, just the police, because at the beginning, like, that's why he stays so hidden. Well, one, it's a whole intimidation factor, and the whole thing of like him intimidating criminals. But at the same time, it's just like he's viewed as a vigilante. So if the police see him, they try to arrest him, even though he's
Yeah,
catching criminals and
yeah,
everything. So if he's actually like working with them at the beginning, something I have an issue with, because that doesn't really make sense at his career, unless that there's some storyline somewhere where that's a different case. Not that I know of, but As far as I know, that not the case at the beginning.
I got confused at first because I thought they made like not trying to be political, but I thought that they made Commissioner Gordon black.
They
That's
at
not
first
him, huh? That's not him, no. It's the other
no, that
guy.
is
That is him.
what other guy? That is him. That is Commissioner Gordon.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't realize him. I'm like, why is this guy? I'm like, I feel like I know his character, but I'm not sure. And then I saw people posting about it. I'm like, oh. I'm like, I don't really mind it because even though he has darker skin, he actually does look like Commissioner Gordon.
yeah.
And that's the thing is just like,
Wait a
I
minute.
don't really care about that stuff, but it's just like, if they
Would that
are
automatically
something,
make Barbara Gordon black? So
that's a
essentially,
good question.
they kind of just kill two birds with one stone. Then
What do you mean?
now they're gonna make her, well, black. Black power. I mean, I'm all for it, but like that's kind of smart. Cause it's her daughter, no? I mean his daughter, no?
Yeah, but I mean, they could also do it where she's not even part of this storyline.
Oh, you know what? Very true. Who's that dude in the rain that's like angry?
Uh,
Cause
wait,
that's not Colin Farrell, because they said that Colin
I
Farrell's
was
the
gonna.
Penguin.
Oh yeah, and have you seen his like the actual close up of his face as Penguin?
Oh God, I don't want to see that. That sounds scary.
No, like I mean, it's a big difference, but like it's pretty crazy how like they all the makeup and all that, I forgot what the word is. All the stuff that they did to make him look like Penguin. I'm like, that'll look pretty freaking sick.
That surfaced?
Yeah.
All right, let me take a look at that.
Uh, because there's Penguin that's a villain in there. Damn it, what's her name that's gonna play Catwoman?
I forgot her name.
I don't know, I can't remember. Yeah, she's Catwoman. I forgot who else. Because they say it's like multiple villains, but I don't
Oh,
know.
that dude in the rain is him.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what I was wondering. Uh,
What the hell?
yeah,
They made
so
him look like a different person.
yeah, I know it's crazy.
He looks like, wow.
Penguin.
He looks like Richard Kind.
Something else I like from the trailer is the short little bits of that you see of like fight scenes. And the reason why I like that is that because you could actually see probably some stunt double them actually working the fight like an actual person,
Yeah,
but it looks much more well choreographed versus like the Dark Knight ones. Because that one just like seemed like awkward seeing Batman fight because he had this gigantic cape, and then a lot of the stuff just seemed stiff for the most part. Didn't really look that great. And then when you watch like Batman versus Superman, it all looks great because it's all CGI for most of it. Like
yeah,
a big chunk of it is just CGI'd out, and it's like, wow, that looks great, but you could really tell that's not actually him doing it. I love the brutality of it, but it's just like I want to see like actual person doing choreography, and then you could do stuff like I don't know, mix in like the ridiculous strength he somehow has, like something like how Marvel does it with Captain America to an extent.
yeah,
So it's just like you can do that and still have great choreography.
yeah. Because essentially, the when Captain America throws his shield and it pins somebody against a wall or some way or some sort, it's actually his strength being put into the actual throw itself, like very much similar to like a baseball, because it has weight to it, obviously. Because when you throw a football, the force of the football doesn't attune into its shape. So the shield, since it's obviously vibranium, it absorbs technically kinetic energy, so you can kind of like add weight into the actual throw. So that's what allows him to actually deal pretty significant damage to structures. Because I'm pretty sure people go, "Oh, that's a big robot, or that's a tank or a helicopter. How would a little frisbee blow that up?" Like, well, he's throwing it so damn hard, it's basically like a bullet.
And then also, I mean, they make it apparent that vibranium is the strongest metal in the universe
So
too.
it could cut, yeah. With the force of it being thrown, it could cut. Like that's what a lot of people. That's I don't know if you've seen Corridor's video where they made the Captain America Civil War scene rated R, where like basically impaled the dude. Like yeah, that makes that would actually be a thing, like because the force of it being thrown would cause it to slice the dude in half. Because most of his executes involve him bashing the dude and like basically cutting off their neck. I'm pretty sure you've seen that before. Where he he
Yeah,
raises his shield and just brings it down with two hands.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's a thing in Marvel Avengers game, by the way. Basically, everyone has an execute, kind of like how Batman has in the Arkham games. Like you can execute, like you have a little takedown mechanic, or like also in Call of Duty too. Except you can do it if an enemy is on low health, and it basically heals you if you successfully do an execute. And several of Captain America's involve him decapitating the enemy. And the funny part is you can actually see it. I'm like, oh god. So if you're fighting a human soldier, it's like, oh. When you're fighting a robot, there's specific, because I think you can unlock it's called takedowns. You can unlock one that I have. He basically like kicks the robot and then like against a wall, and then he just rips the head off. I was like, God damn! Why can't I do this on the humans? I love to see that shit. But, uh, yeah, that's how Captain America uses his brutal strength, and in the films they kind of toned it down a little bit, but you can still tell. I feel that that's maybe what they're gonna do with this Batman, where it's just he's just brawling, because in reality that's he spent all that time learning how to fight. No,
yeah.
with what's his face? Who was his Did he
Oh,
did he actually travel to train? Like was that a thing?
yeah. He left Gotham and then he went to go train. And then, yeah, he trained with Ra's al Ghul.
Raja Ghul. That was in the Nolan films. That was Liam Neeson, right?
Yeah.
Ah, dope. I wonder if that character will ever make a return. Does that character ever come back as like a deity in Bruce's life?
Uh, well, what do you mean?
Because I think doesn't Liam Neeson come back, but as a villain in the Nolan films?
Well, he is a villain in the first one.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, because Ra's al Ghul is a villain necessarily.
oh,
Yeah, because he has the League of Shadows, just trains a bunch of assassins,
oh
and
shit.
they go out, yeah, and justice. What they find is justice, and they kill off people and everything. Um, but yeah, so in that first one, he goes and trains with him, and I just find it funny that like there's this guy that has this organization and everything, far as hell from Gotham, but somehow decides like, oh, we need to take control of Gotham. Like, really? Out of all the places you're by, you choose Gotham? Why?
This place needs to be
Yeah,
taken over immediately.
yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. But yeah, he's not a good guy. He wants to take control and figures that Gotham needs to be taken control of.
Damn. Well, I'm excited to see what the film entails. Maybe we'll do like a review like right after you watch it.
Yeah.
All right. With that said, I think it's been quite a while. We'll go ahead and wrap this up so we can go ahead and get started on recording. It's a pleasure for those of you who are still here, and those of you who have came and watched us. We hope that you come back and watch us again, and hopefully we'll see you in the next time. Everybody take care.